Just then, Kirsty let out an excited little squeal. Rachel looked at that bucket of feed in the dustpan, she said. It seemed to be an ordinary metal bucket, but Rachel trusted her best friend. She knew the only one thing that could make Kirsty sound so excited in the middle of a crisis. Fairy magic. She stared at the bucket and then she saw a little flare of sparkling light. It grew brighter until the whole bucket was glowing. Then a tiny glittering fairy shot out of the bucket and high into the air. She whisked around like a firework and then swooped down to where the girls were standing. "Hello, Rachel and Kirsty," she said, a little out of breath. "It's me, Billy, the baby goat fairy." Billy was wearing blue dungarees with white spots and a t-shirt with floaty sleeves. Her eyes twinkled behind her glasses. "Hello, Billy," said Rachel. "We are really glad to see you. Look at poor Gilbert. He thinks he is a chicken." Billy fluttered down and perched on the top of the wooden fence. As soon as she saw Gilbert patting the ground, she folded her arms and shook her head. "I must get Chumpy back home," she said. "I cannot have any baby goats until we have found him. I came to tell you that one of the goblins has brought Chumpy here to the farm. Will you help me search for him? We are always glad to help out our fairy friends," said Kirsty at once. "Where shall we look first?" "It will be easier to search the farm if we can fly it and search for Chumpy from above," said Rachel. "Good thinking," said Billy, snapping her fingers. No sooner said than done. The girls ducked down behind the gate of the pen. They could not see anyone watching, but they did not want to take any risks. Nobody else would find out about the fairies. Billy waved her wand, and a flurry of springtime flowers rose up and swirled around the girls, hiding them from view. Surrounded by the magical blooms, Rachel and Kirsty felt themselves shrinking to fairy size. Their hair was sprinkled with petals as their fairy wings grew. Then the flowers fell to the ground and the three fairies fluttered upwards together. From the air they could see the whole farmyard laid out like a map. "The pigs, the sheep and the horses," said Kirsty, as they flew over Greenfield's farm. "No sign of the goblins or Chumpy," said Kirsty. "There is Blossom the cow beside the barn. We should check inside." They swooped into the barn, but it was empty. Blossom let out a worried moo, and the fairies paused to pet her. "Do not worry, Blossom," Rachel whispered in her ear. "We are trying to help the farm." Blossom nodded her head in the direction of the chicken coop behind the farmhouse. When the fairies flew closer, they heard squawking, flapping, and alarm clacking. "Something is scaring the chickens," said Kirsty. They zoomed across the chicken coop and landed beside the ramp that led into the henhouse. A baby goat was standing in the entrance, and the golden glow of his coat told them who he was. "Chumpy," said Billy. Suddenly Chumpy started moving down the ramp, and the fairies saw that a goblin was trying to grab him. Chumpy pushed back, and the goblin threw his arms around the baby goat's neck. "Stop clutching," the goblin wailed. "I want a cuddle with you." But Chumpy butted him and disappeared. The squawking of the hens grew louder. "Why is Chumpy playing around the henhouse?" Rachel asked. "Maybe he wants to sit on a nest like the hens," said Kirsty. "After all, he is acting like a chicken." Suddenly an idea popped into Rachel's head. That's exactly what we need, she said. A nest, Billy. Can you make one big enough for Chompy to sit on? Billy waved her wand and a large nest appeared on the ground outside the henhouse. It is the perfect size for Chompy, said Rachel in delight. Chompy, over here. Chompy scampered over and sat down on the big nest, strutting happily. Chompy, said Billy, fluttering towards him. He looked up at her and gave a confused little frown. Rachel and Kirsty held hands and smiled. Any moment now, Chompy would be back to his normal self. But suddenly there was a loud crack of a bolt of icy blue magic, and then Jack Frost was standing in front of the nest.